go pull up the transcoder here and let's take a look. And I see us all. Okay, everybody, I'm going to pick on somebody. Adam, behave yourself. Okay, that's it. I always pick on one person. We're ready to go. Jordan, let's rock and roll.
All right, send in the feed your way. Have a great show.
Thank you.
Where does yesterday's future, which is already here, meet today's future, which is about to happen, and tomorrow's future, which could be just minutes away? Welcome to Technology Revolution, the future of now, where host Bonnie D. Graham asks savvy futurists for their predictions about the tech-driven trends that are shaping our future right now. Here's your host, who will take us into the future of now, Bonnie D. Graham.
Thank you to the voice who introduces me, Bonnie D. in the house. Happy to be here. My goodness gracious. If anybody saw my promo, my post on LinkedIn this morning, and I hope you did, I was recalling, reminiscing. There was a children's song years ago that went, "The wheels on the bus go round and round." Adam, I try not to sing it, ruins the show, but Simon liked it, and Roja's not too bad with that, so we're okay. And you know, that was from 1937. None of us were here. I'm positive about that. But our topic today, our question is, if the wheels on the bus, the car, the taxi, the some kind of conveyance in the automotive industry is going round and round, what happens to the parts? Where do they go? We hope they don't get tossed. We hope they don't get squashed. We hope they don't get burned. We want something to happen with those too. So welcome. This is part 2 of a show I concocted with my good friend. He's my good friend, Simon Meitz. A couple of months ago, we were doing the future of the circular economy and AI. And he said, you know, we really want to focus on one industry, Bonnie D. Automotive. So he reconvened. We've got Adam back and Simon and brand new Roja and Josef and Lars, and I'll be introducing them in a minute. So anybody who drives anything that has wheels that goes on a road somewhere, this is for you. So I'm going to read my opening poem, and let's see if my guests like it. When I call your name, just wave, okay? Welcome, global audience, to Technology Revolution's Glow. Bonnie D on her Scarlett Mic, your host and guide, you know. Today, we drive into a topic profound, the automotive circular economy, where AI is spinning round. The circular economy, here's the definition, is a model bright, where waste becomes new resources that are done right. Recycle, reuse, renew. By now, you know it's basically about reducing what we throw. With 5 futurists here, count them, Bonnie D's stage is set. Predictions that inspire, innovate, and reset. I want everybody to get ready now. All my audience, listen up. Simon J.A. Meitz, I think we got the J.A. last time. I don't remember what they are. Shapes the circular way, transforming production for a sustainable day. From EY Carbon to high-level summits he's led, strategies for decarbonization's brilliantly spread. A leader in ecosystems, both local and grand, Simon crafts futures, resilient, innovative, and well-planned. Simon, do you like? Oh, he likes that. Good. I think I tweaked it from last time. Roja Khanpour is with us for the first time. There she is. She drives change with a sustainable steer, circularity in automotive. Her mission is clear. From polymers to roadmaps, her vision is wide, shaping materials to help the industry get its stride. Rooted in values and driven by cause, Roja builds a future worth heartfelt applause. Roja, I hope you like that. Oh, we got a big smile. Good. Okay. Adam Thompson is back. I don't know where my assistant got this, but the Tarzan of Bavarian trees. I don't know where it just appeared here. He fights for the planet, the air, and the seas. His patents and passion for ESG thrive. Sustainability is not option. It's how we survive. From oceans to forests, Adam's actions inspire a future to which we all can aspire. Adam, you like that? He's gulping for air. It just appeared in my poem. Lars Eiermann is with us. Lars, wave hello. He champions deep tech's role, empowering startups with an environmental goal. At TUM, he blends science with scalable might to reshape the circular economy's flight. From trucks to labs, his mission is profound, driving innovation where solutions abound. Lars, I hope you like that. Did we get a smile?
Wonderful.
Oh, wonderful. We got a wonderful. Good. All right. Put a check mark in that column. And Josef Wagner is with us. He designs cars of tomorrow's dreams. Lightweight and efficient, they redefine themes from BMW icons to composite grace, engineering solutions that the future will embrace. With a focus on progress and expertise vast, Josef is crafting a vision where sustainability lasts. I hope you like that, Josef.
Very
Okay.
much, very much.
Very much. I'll take that. So stay tuned, dear audience, as we explore a revolution in tech innovation and more. AI meets the automotive circular economy right here with Bonnie D and her brilliant futurists. It's ours to steer. Okay, everybody, how'd I do? Pretty good? Do I get a thumbs up on that one? Like that? Simon, am I the only producer host in the world for a technology show who opens with a poem? Is that possible? I could be the only one.
I think you're quite unique there.
You think
and
so?
Amazing. I think there is a business model in there, but let's talk about that.
Simon and I have a meeting tomorrow. We're going to talk about that. Well, I will tell you, I'm going to just a little bragging rights. This show is now ranked number 2 on the top 20 future tech shows by an organization called FeedSpot. I am very proud of that. I don't know where they get their stats, but I'll take it. I'll take it. And I recently Googled the title of the show, and there are podcast and I call this simulcast broadcast. There are aggregating stations and websites I've never heard of that have my show listed. So people are listening, and I'm so glad you're all here. Let's go around the table. We're going to ask for a little bit more on your bios. Adam and Simon, you were here a couple weeks ago. I don't think a lot has changed, but you're going to get your 3 minutes of glory, so don't worry about that. And the speaking order is the poem order as I had before. So it's Simon and Roja and Adam and Lars and Josef. And I want you to know I admire and respect each of you, but somebody had to be first. That was Simon. And somebody had to be last. So just bear with me here. So we just want to know a little bit about your origin story. How did you get into automotive? What drove you there? Oh, Bonnie D, stop with the metaphors. They're getting silly. Okay, Simon, I'm putting you on speaker view. Would you please fill us in? What have you been up to the past couple weeks? And welcome back. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. I think I won't bother you with all the detailed steps of my CV today. To be honest, I found myself reflecting a bit on what drives me and what really excites me, also with regards to the circular economy, with sustainability. And for me, it's really designing smart strategies that make meaningful change. So I love working with and co-creating with brilliant minds like all of you guys, of course, to tackle challenges that are, in my mind, very complex and at the same time very fascinating. My passion is really around building ecosystem and strategies to turn bold ideas like the circular economy into a reality, to make them come true, to close the loop in that sense, by navigating all those dynamic and large-scale transformations with so many countless connections and moving parts that it's unbelievable. And maybe one example here, the future of the end-of-life vehicles in Europe. A question that I'm currently pondering is how we create a business case that aligns all players on the one hand side, that it also establishes a clear framework and inspires collective action. And end, I think
I want to make sure you're not giving away one of your predictions, Simon.
No, of course not. Of course not.
Okay, go ahead. Finish your thought. Finish your thought.
And if we I think one other brilliant mind once said it, recycle our attitude, we can close the loop together.
Re-attitude, re-toed up. Oh, I think we could do some t-shirts with that. We'll talk later. So thank you, Simon. It's always wonderful, and I appreciate you so much for bringing these wonderful people to me. I would never have met Roja or Josef or Lars or Adam for that matter, and Martin and Matthias from the last time we were together. So I appreciate the introductions, and you're engaging the posse. I like that a lot. Thank you. Roja, you're new. We're just delighted to have you. I love it when we get a woman in automotive on a show once in a while. It's not easy to find you. Roja, I'm putting you on speaker view. Would you please take a whole 3 minutes and tell us how did you get into automotive? And we just want to know who you are. Welcome.
Yes, hello. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Roja Khanpour, and I'm a manager of circular economy at Continental Automotive Technologies. And a few weeks back, my colleague, very, very good friend, also Katarina Payer, was in this show, and she offered me to take over for the second session. I'm very, very glad to be here. I'm also happy to see, I'm also proud as a woman in automotive industry, and I can tell you there are not many of us there. Unfortunately, hopefully that gets better and we see more and more women in engineering and automotive. A little bit about my job. As I said, I'm the circular economy manager at Automotive, one of automotive sector at Continental. I'm also co-founder and core member of Advanced Material and Circularity Expert Group at European Association for Automotive Suppliers. And about my background and where I'm from. So I have experience of more than a decade in automotive. In automotive, in last 2-3 years, I'm in the sector, automotive sector, which is of Continental, specialized in electronics. And beforehand, I worked for 9 years in tire sector. Before that, I have 4 years of experience in oil and gas industry in my home country of Iran. My studies and my background, I studied material science and polymer engineering and also chemical engineering back home in Tehran and also here in Germany, which is, I consider that as my second home. And coming to circularity, it has a personal aspect to it. During the COVID time, there was a time that we were all locked down, and it was for me very good to reflect. I had a time to reflect on what I'm doing and what I want to be doing in future. And I got a chance to join a very simple virtual book club, which friends initiated, and they start reading books on the specific topic of sustainability and environment. And I have to confess, for the first time, introduced to the topic of circularity and how important it is. I said myself, that's it. So after that, I started to further educate myself, and I'm still doing that. And I was lucky at Continental that I could take these new jobs since 2022.
I have never heard in all my travels, never heard anybody say they joined a book club during COVID and it changed their entire career path and their view on their profession. Right, Adam? Right, Simon? I'm not getting much of a reaction from Lars or Joseph. They're saying, "Wow, that was really cool." Okay, thank you for sharing that, Roja. That's a very interesting take on what do you do with what we might call downtime or not in the office time or life not as usual. Thank you. Thank you for that. That's why I love the origin stories, because we get to find out who you really are as a person, not just a list from your CV of everything that you've done that's so brilliant. How did you get there? Thank you so much, Ruja. Delighted to have you. And women in STEM, yes. By the way, I'm an early woman in tech. I found that out when I was invited to be the kickoff speaker for the Women in Big Data, their Women's International Day 2 years ago on March 8th, 2022, I believe. And I showed them what a mainframe computer looked like and what a key punch machine looked like. And I was coding as a programmer analyst in COBOL on a Xerox Sigma 6 CP5 mainframe computer, and then in PL1 on an IBM 4341. And you're all looking at me like, why is she talking a foreign language? What is she trying to say? I have no idea what Bonnie's talking about, but Adam understands. Roja's trying, and Simon has heard this before, and he's saying, okay, let's get on with it. Thank you very much. Adam, you're up. Let's catch up with you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to change my intro a little slightly from the last session and probably
Yes.
sidestep the Tarzan off the Bavarian Forest to come to automotive today. Then, so don't know where that creeped in. So just in a very open manner, I actually started in automotive about 20 odd years ago. I know I've got a very British accent, but actually I was very fortunate to start my career in a near Stuttgart area. So I'm sure most will know which firm I'm talking about. But I'll be honest, even from when I was a kid, I just loved cars, whether it was the supercars or whether you're going on a journey. And let's be honest, if we just take the step back and have the reflection as to what's the automotive industry done for mankind in general, and now which era are we actually now moving in, it's fascinating, but it's also orchestrating and pivoting the whole of all of our actions going forwards. So for me, now relating, because for those who don't know, I have my OEM role where I'm sitting in the sustainability consulting, I'm leading globally as finance and ESG, et cetera, et cetera. But actually, I also sit outside of IBM in the EU Commission as a German Climate Pact ambassador in a free capacity. And so I'm very, very proud to not just talk the talk, but walk the walk. So when I start talking about circularity and actually how we bring the local entities together to make a difference here to the next era of automotive, I think that's fascinating. And also on the cusp of where we actually, I promise not to go into any of my predictions, but when we start talking about software-defined vehicles and all this good stuff about where AI and let's say all of the disrupting technology that is available, especially in circularity, and makes both economical and ecological sense, then you've got me. This is like the area that's I find fascinating, and more importantly, we can make impact on at a global scale. So I'm going to stop there because I know we're against the clock, but lovely to have you or have me back on it, Bonnie. So thank you.
Absolutely delighted. And I'm going to find out where the Tarzan came from, but it certainly got everybody awake. I appreciate that. You know, I use my friend Sylvia, the chatbot, ChatGPT. She's my virtual assistant. She must have put it in there. She got it from your bio, Adam. I can't say anything more than that, but I thought, am I really going to read this? Adam can deal with it. He had his Wheaties this morning. So there you go. Delighted to have you back. And hello to, I think her name is Lily. You're one of your marketing people at,
Yeah.
yes, at IBM.
Fantastic.
Yes, we
Yeah.
appreciate her helping out with the promotions. Lars Eiermann, nice to meet you. I'm putting you on speaker view. We want to know your origin story. Welcome.
Nice, Bonnie. Great to be here. And first of all, thanks for having me. And I'm really happy to be here. A bit similar like Roja. A colleague of mine, Matthias Barwick, joined the show, I think, a few weeks ago. And he said, okay, jump in. This will be interesting. I said, okay, give it a shot. Why not? Shortly about me. So my DNA is mainly mobility and logistics in studies, in PhDs, in consultancies. And then I had the luxury of running 11 years different VP positions at the German truck producer MAN as part of the W group. And one of my recent responsibility was to push the whole decarbonization, to move it forward. Science-based target. Roughly, a truck makes up 0.3% of global CO2 emissions over lifetime. So this is quite extensive because they run so many kilometers. And even if you put them all electric, it's still the question: is the electricity screen? And then I came to a point where I said, okay, it has to be more. It's not only decarbonization. We also have to think about the resources. We have to think about circular economy, not only recycling, already in the design phase. And I touched to my CTO and said, okay, we have to do there something. And he said, okay, look for some good students, look for some PhDs who can help you. And then I talked to too many people at the Technical University of Munich, TUM. And I said, okay, you can do more. Build up the startup ecosystem here. Use all your experiences you have in the industry. Use all the experience you have in running sustainable topics. And that caught me a bit and said, okay, let's go for it. And with the ambition, like you said in the beginning, and I really like your poem,
Thank you.
to build up a bit a deep tech powerhouse around the facilities of the TUM, but also other players. And it's not a European show. It's always a show of collaboration. So I'm really, really lucky that we have also strong supporters transatlantic from the US, like the Dow School in Stanford or the MIT or companies like Breakthrough Energy. So we have the same ambition. How can we bring science much faster to spin-offs, to startups, to scale-ups, to have a significant impact, both on the environmental, but also on the economic side. Otherwise, it's a bit tricky to scale. And especially for circular economy, this is a challenge because the business model is completely changing. And maybe the business case is not the first obvious one in this. The natures thing is obvious, I think, directly. The business thing is a bit more tricky. And that makes really fun to work with all those talents and to push it forward and have a really significant impact concerning innovation and startups.
Thank you, Lars. I'm glad you liked the poem. A very, very interesting background. And several of you mentioned that you were lucky to get this job or lucky to get this opportunity. I don't think luck has much to do with it. I think when you're committed, when you're smart, when you work hard, I think doors open, or like I've done in my multiple 8 or 9 or 10 careers, you push that door open to see what's on the other side. And if the planets are aligned, and I don't even call that luck, it comes together. We're making this future. Lars, you used the word impact over and over again, and that's what we're talking about is what's the importance of all of this, of circularity? Why is it, what's the value, and how can we do something about it? And what is it going to do for good? I think that's all really how to simplify it. So Lars, thank you. I'm delighted to meet you, and thank you to our former guest who introduced you. I wrote a note to Simon. I said, we've got networking going on here. Katerina brought Roja, and Matthias, I think you said, brought Lars. So Josef, Wagner, you're up. We're ready to talk to you. Tell us who you are and what are you doing here? Welcome, Josef.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. So, thank you, Simon, to also contacting me for this opportunity here to speak in this exciting podcast here. And yeah, what I'm doing here, I started 20 years ago as a designer in automotive industry, coming from the material side, so fiber reinforced plastics, not very sustainable at all. Moving into sport car development and so on. And 10 years ago or 11, I got the responsibility for a department here called New Technologies. And there we were developing. We did a lot of pre-development and also trying to solve some of the topics that fiber reinforced plastic has in automotive. It's expensive. It has a large carbon footprint and so on. By giving it a recycling approach or a reusable approach. So we did some research projects there, and this switched our view about circular economy and sustainability at all. So this new technology department then switched from developing sports cars to sustainability solutions. And it's still under my responsibility. I'm responsible for a larger entity, but it's still here and it's growing. Yeah, so we do a lot of research projects in many directions for a circular approach for all kinds of materials, from metals to thermoplastics and also thermoset materials and fiber reinforced plastics. And we try to help the industry to get a circular approach and to get more sustainable. So that's our job as a development company. Yeah. Engineering company.
Thank you very much. Nice to meet you. Simon, what a wonderful panel you have put together. Obviously, high impact intelligence here, and I appreciate all of you. We're going to go now to the quote part of the show, where I've asked each of you to send me a fictional quote from a fictional character in a movie or a TV show, or a song lyric that you like, and you're going to relate it to the topic. Simon, I let you get away with this quote because it kind of talks about our topic, and I like you so much, I let you keep it. So that's okay.
Oh.
There's one word in here. We broke the rules a little bit, but you're such a good friend and a supporter of the show. So here we go. Simon has picked a quote from Dr. Zoidberg, voiced by Billy West, Futurama, animated sci-fi sitcom on Fox from 1999 to 2003, then Comedy Central 2008 to 9, then on Hulu, talk about moving around, the wheels of the bus go round, Hulu from 2023 to 24, and an upcoming 10th and 11th season coming up. It's created by Matt Groening, and we all know his name, blah, blah, blah. It follows Philip J. Fry, cryogenically preserved for 1,000 years. Who wants to be on that bus? I don't think I do. And he's revived on December 31st, 2099. Okay. He works at the interplanetary delivery company Planet Express with the one-eyed mutant Leela and the robot Bender. I'm just going to stop there. Here's the quote Simon has picked. I don't have any idea what I'm talking about. The quote is, I ate garbage yesterday and it didn't cost me $300. Simon, this isn't a restaurant show, thank goodness. So talk to us. Simon, take 2 minutes for this quote. What does it mean to our topic? Go ahead.
Okay, great, thank you. I mean, the show is crazy, but I do love it. So, I mean, the quote, it may sound absurd, of course, at first, but I think it's the perfect metaphor for circularity here. So, we're turning waste into something valuable. So that's exactly the same as we do with circular economy, for example. We're changing yesterday's garbage, as in the quote, like scrapped car parts, like production waste becomes the raw material for tomorrow's innovation. And AI will be one of the key drivers to make that transformation not only efficient, but also profitable. So AI will drive the circular economy across the whole life cycle of the automotive, from design, testing, go-to-market phase, end-of-life vehicles, a lot. We will hear about it later in the show. So that's the quote, and that's my connection to the show. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That was very interesting. Great way to start the quote segment. Roja, I'm looking at your quote. It was spoken by Grandmaster Oogway, voiced by Randall Duck Kim. It was in Kung Fu Panda 2008 animated. We're staying with animation here. Animation, martial arts comedy film produced by DreamWorks, distributed by Paramount. It's set in ancient China, a version of ancient China, populated by anthropomorphic animals. The story centers on a bumbling giant panda called Po, played by Jack Black, or voiced by a kung fu enthusiast living in the Valley of Peace. When the savage snow leopard Tai Lung is foretold to escape imprisonment and attack the valley, Po is unwittingly named the Dragon Warrior. I'm thinking of Anna. These could have been in your bio here. The Dragon Warrior, a prophesied hero worthy of reading a scroll that has been intended to grant its reader limitless power. Here is the quote Roja has picked. There is a saying, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift. That's why it's called the present. I think this has been quoted by people through the centuries, and it was just lovely to find it in Kung Fu Panda. So go ahead, Roja. What does this mean to us, please?
So I love the animation, and I find it very inspiring, but the relevance to today's discussion is for me to emphasize on today. And I want to bring the two sides of why for me it's very relevant and important. First is, I personally believe that we humankind are today at a very crucial moment. We have developed enough knowledge to acknowledge the problem that we are facing due to utilizing the linear take waste, make waste economy. There are many scientific data. We have talked about these there's research which is very upsetting, but given by the Stockholm Resilience Center, which basically tells in 2024, 6 out of 9 planetary boundaries are surpassed. I want to bring another example, which is, I think, very, very important here. It's the article. There was an article published in the magazine Nature, which says that in 2020, the mass of human-made material has surpassed the total mass of living thing on the earth. And these materials normally after use are turned to gigantic piles of waste. And this is contrary to what is happening in nature. There is no waste and no resources are turned to become useless, or they basically become the feedstock for new lives and new production. I want to even more focus here on automotive industry, just to give a hint of what is happening in automotive industry. European Commission officially, their data reports every year 6 million vehicles reach in Europe their end of life. 4 millions get vanished. No one knows what is happening to them. And just imagine how much of the waste it is. Automotives, as much as good they are and make our life easy and convenient, they are very material and resource intensive. And what a waste it is that we use them and then they go to become waste. And I would like to bring that to bright side. What opportunity there is for us to really build a viable economy, the economy side of circular economy out of that. So I see that as a chance. And on the bright side and the relevance to AI, we as a humankind are developed such great tools today like AI, which can turn the situation around. And I believe that that's the reason today could be a gift. It is a gift and can be used as it is named through tools like AI to turn this situation in humans benefit and in global, to have a better world, safe and convenient, not for us as humankind, but for all other species as well.
Thank you. I think you touched all the bases there. You got everybody included, and everybody says thank you, including us. Thank you. Let's go to Adam. Adam has picked an iconic quote from Forrest Gump, played by Tom Hanks. 1994, was it really that long ago? Comedy drama. Comedy drama, the only two genres they hyphenate. Adam, it could be space opera, sci-fi, adventure, something, and it would be like 12 things, and there would no hyphens, but comedy drama is hyphenated. Directed by Robert Zemeckis, written by Eric Roth, based on a novel from 1986 by Winston Groom. It depicts several decades in the life of Forrest Gump, a slow-witted and kind-hearted man from Alabama who witnesses and unwittingly influences several defining historical events in 20th century U.S. It's very different from the novel, and I'm going to do the quote the way I remember it from the movie. My mama always said, life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. Okay, Adam, take it over. Do it better than I did. I dare you. Go ahead.
Maybe at the end if I've got enough courage, but I'll use the seamless link then about the opportunity. So actually, when I thought about which quote to go for this time, I had a real life story with my grandparents, bless them. They had a mini Moggy Traveller. Now, if you ever know your cars, it's a terrible car. But this particular car, it was the wheels weren't falling off the wagon. We're trying to keep them on, but every now and then you needed to fix old Betsy. In the UK, we give our cars names. Anyhow, where I'm going with this quote is that in the past, with frugality and let's say resourcefulness to the nth degree, there was obviously always that capability to, critique your vehicle, make sure that you really had the maximum utilization of what materials that you had on the vehicle, et cetera, et cetera. Now, obviously, we've progressed in terms of industry and obviously manufacturing cycles, and we can talk about AI, edge, and et cetera, et cetera. But the point here is more fundamental. It's more about, and actually, Roja's sort of stole my steal a little bit in the sense of the resource availability, or more to the point, the resource scarcity. Thinking about all these new problem statements we're faced with, but actually flipping it to an opportunity in the circular economy, it's fantastic, but we need to have that change management mindset to get there. So bless Forrest, and bless that he obviously, at least in the movie, was involved in different stages of history. I think this is another one of those maybe virtual milestones that we can hopefully unpick and come back to the magic word impact.
Thank you, Adam, and I'm very grateful that you mentioned the word change and the concept of change management, because isn't that really the basis of what you're trying to do with this information? Manage change, instill change, incite change, encourage change, support change, beg for change. Isn't that really what this is all about, instead of cars ending up in a junkyard? And where do people go for odd parts that they don't want to go to the dealer? They go here in the United States, they go to a junkyard. Oh, I see that model. Oh, too bad. Look at the, I couldn't, I hope everybody lived. But that mirror, that would cost me $1,200 from the dealer. Could I have it for 75 bucks? Or I'll give you 100. And they take the mirror and they have somebody, isn't that the way it's working? Isn't that where they go to the death knell of cars that don't belong there and they take parts? And I hate to think of all the movies with chop shops where they steal cars and then they chop up the parts and they give them to other cars or they give them to people. That's in a very odd way a circular economy with stolen goods. I'm not going to go there, but I was thinking about that. Thank you, Adam. Appreciate the quote. Lars, you are up. He's back. And Lars has sent us a quote from Thanos, played by Josh Brolin. Avengers Endgame, a 2019 superhero film based on the Marvel Comics superhero team, The Avengers, produced by Marvel, distributed by Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures. And the cast is, Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Mark Ruffalo, Be Still My Heart, Chris Hemsworth, Scarlett Johansson. Oh my goodness. Jeremy Renner, Don Cheadle, Paul Rudd, Brie Larson. I can't even go on. I'm just getting upset here. It's so many. And Gwyneth Paltrow and Bradley Cooper. Oh my. Anyway, Thanos is a supervillain created by the writer-artist Jim Starlin. He first appeared in the Invincible Iron Man number 55 in 1973. And he's an intergalactic warlord from Titan who acquired all 6 Infinity Stones in Infinity War and triggered the snap, killing half of all life in the universe. I'm going to stop there. I'm getting upset. Here is the quote, 3 words. Lars, you have to smile. Lars brought us the shortest quote for the show today. I'm pretty sure I didn't look at Joseph's yet. It's 3 words. We love our 3-word quotes, Lars. I am inevitable. That's the best I can do. I've never heard Thanos. Lars, take us through this. How'd you find this? And what does it mean? Go.
First, thanks. I am inevitable. I had some sorts to choose the right saying. And I like to provoke because only when we provoke, we try to think a bit out of the box. We try to think a bit next. And you said he's a supervillain. With one snap, he killed half of the population in the whole universe, not only on the planet. So the question is a bit, who is the supervillain concerning our discussion today? Is it mankind because of what it's doing to environment? Is it the environment because it's not reacting to mankind? And where are we going? And what is the right way? Is it technology? Is it good or bad? Or is it an opportunity? Or is it our doom? I think there are many discussions who can be the supervillain, but in the end, it's not so important who is the supervillain. The question is how we deal with it. Just to give you some examples, some thoughts about in relation to sustainability and circular economy. I think the balance is important. We have to think about the impact of climate change and have to think about the impact how we deal with our resources. The first time in history this year that industrial CO2 emissions go down, but the overall CO2 emissions in the atmosphere go up. Why? Because the planet is not helping us as much as the planet did in the past. The planet is a real big supporter on our side, helping us with CO2 absorption, all those topics. But this is only possible if nature is intact. So the more resources we take out of nature, the more we go on monocultures, and the more we treat the planet in a worse way, the more we do it on the ocean with all this consumption, the planet cannot help us so much with our CO2 emissions. So even if we get all the industries to 0 emissions, we still have an issue. So we have to keep those 2 things in balance. And circular economy is a really impact on the climate aspect. And if we have a look on this, it's just the fact base. It's not the emotional thing. It will change our future. So the question is, climate change and the impact on the planet, is it inevitable or not? In the movie, in the beginning was not. With a snap, half of the population in the universe died. And I think that's not what we're looking for. But they had a super trick in the movie. They were able, with a strong collaboration, to work together, to set back time and to reset it and to make things better. I don't know if we will get this super trick. So we have to collaborate. We have to bring our minds together. And I really like Adam said, we have to find the opportunities in this. And there are a lot of opportunities for innovation, for technologies to bring, on the one side, the well-being of mankind and living on our limited planet together and push it forward to hope that climate change might be inevitable.
Thank you. Very thought-provoking, very thoughtful. I appreciate that. Josef, I'm going to go to your quote, and I'm looking at the clock, and we have been having so much fun with our bios and our origin stories and our quotes. I only have 16 minutes left for the whole show, so let's see if we can zip through one prediction each, but I'm going to give Josef his time for the quote. Josef, your quote is from Nothing Else Matters, a power ballad song by the heavy metal band Metallica from 1992. How many years ago was that? Interestingly enough, James Hetfield, who was the lead singer and rhythm guitarist, he was bummed out about being away from home. He wrote the song for himself, but when the drummer, Lars Ulrich, heard it, he said, let's put it on the album. They didn't want to give it to the band. I thought Metallica could only be the four of us. These songs are about destroying things, headbanging, bleeding for the crowd, whatever it is, as long as it wasn't about chicks and fast cars, even though that's what we liked. Lars, I got you to smile again. The song was about a girlfriend. It turned out to be a big song. Here's the line Josef has picked. Open mind for a different view and nothing else matters. Josef, take your 2 minutes. What's this all about?
Yeah, I think as I was referring beforehand, we were in a situation for a few years ago, starting project, okay, with some circular approach, and everybody said, okay, you can't reuse structures of a car, that's not possible, and so on. So I have to take a step back and open your mind for a bigger view, and maybe you can find solutions. And we did find solutions on this one, and that's why we started all this sustainability thing. And I cannot no more than agree to all of you. All of what you said is very, very much true, and we only have one planet. We have to get more sustainable, and circularity is one big way to that. And I think also what is problem in the automotive industry? How can we track down our cars? How can we get to the to reuse, to recycle our parts? And I think the data-based AI approach can be very helpful there, and that's why this connection, AI and circularity, I think will work very, very, very well. So,
thank you, that underscores the purpose and the title of the show. The Automotive Circular Economy plus AI. And I always use, Simon, I don't know if you know this, but I always use a plus sign in the titles of my shows. It's not the word and, it's the plus sign. I'm looking at it as an equation, as an additive, right? As a computation. There we go. Yes, okay. Here's the deal. I'm going to put a prediction from each of you in the chat as we're going through each. Take 2 minutes. Let's just cover, and then I'm automatically going to invite you all back last week of January or first Wednesday in February, and we're going to continue with the same prediction. So I'll just need new quotes. But let's see what we get through. Simon, prediction number 1, AI will supercharge the green energy revolution by unlocking second life uses for electric vehicle batteries and facilitating vehicle-to-grid integration. Simon, 2 minutes. Go.
Thank you. So AI will revolutionize the life cycle of EV batteries. So we are not only talking about the use on the road, we're talking about the use far beyond the road. So identifying their potential second life applications. For once, as we know, EV batteries only have about 70–80% capacity. And then at that point, you can't use them for to power vehicles anymore efficiently. So AI will help to repurpose those for energy storage in homes, in businesses, and renewable energy grids, for example. Also,
yeah, keep going.
Also, electric vehicles are evolving beyond transportation. So we're talking about vehicle-to-grid technology, where EVs are acting as mobile energy storage units during those use phases that are, on the one hand side, consuming electricity when needed, and on the other hand, supplying it back to the grid during peak demand. So you can just imagine like millions of EVs acting as micro power stations, balancing the energy demand and supply, and through that addressing several of today's urgent challenges at the same time. We're talking about accelerating the energy transition by interacting with renewable energy more efficiently. We're talking about enhancing grid stability, and we're also talking about offering incentives for EV adoption. And one last thing is that actually this vision is not only a dream anymore, it already became a reality in France just a few weeks back, where they launched their first vehicle-to-grid product. Renault 5 e-tech owners can now charge and drive their EVs emission-free and for free. So it doesn't cost them anything. And this really shows that AI isn't just driving this green energy revolution, it's turning your EV into a power plant on your driveway and into a renewable hub during and whilst you're commuting to work. So
with an economic benefit, Simon, with an economic benefit, if you said for free.
Exactly.
So that's what everybody's worried about right now around the world, is what's it going to cost me? Okay, we can add that one in. Roja, I'm looking at your prediction number 1. Let's attack this one. AI will enhance vehicle component design. Yes, by introducing circular design principles such as reducing complexity, designing for durability. I like that one. Disassembly, oh my, and end-of-life treatments. Talk to us, Roja.
Yes. As much as recycling is important in circular economy, but it is one of the very last resorts when it comes to keep the value and recover and retain the values. This has to be done at very earlier stage, when it's the product non-existing, is a sketch on the paper maybe, and list of requirements, and how AI can help. AI-powered analysis based on the existing requirements, and also consideration of requirements for more sustainable and circular product, can help the engineer at the design stage of the product to really think through these scenarios which are existing, that match the requirement and also match the circularity aspect. Let's say I am a developer and I have these tools can give me these results. How can I dematerialize my product? How can I design a product which lasts longer? How can I use less number of primary virgin materials and replace them with secondary circular materials? Or how can I design a product and with having in mind the end of life or disassembly? For vehicle components and vehicle itself, it's very important, because although very resource intensive, our products last or expected to last for a long time. So when I'm talking about the component design for disassembly, I'm talking about 10, 15 years ahead. So it's very important that these data could be put together, and I believe that will be provided by AI analysis and the tool AI-powered analysis that help the designer much earlier in time, much earlier in design to do that. Yeah, sorry.
Thank you. No. I want to squeeze them in. Thank you. And we're already planning the part 3, so we'll be able to do more. Adam, let's tackle this one. You say reimagining, and there's some overlap to the predictions we're hearing, but I love to hear you all explaining it in your own words. Reimagining of manufacturing processes and use of materials to create circular economy vehicle factories powered by AI. Adam, run through it.
Yeah, sure. So, and I think just to make a distinction on circularity, just very briefly, versus the other prior response, we're talking in terms of the manufacturing here, direct circularity. So talking about exactly the resource utilization, efficiency, etc., versus the indirect, which of course, we was talking about circular economy, about shared vehicles, EVs, power grids. That's obviously a separate distinction. Where we actually then come then to the direct, I think that first and foremost, obviously there's always been automation and analytics, but the distinct difference here is the knowledge domain that now we can get from engineers, from designers, sticking them in what we call large language models, which is basically a spaghetti junction, but it has the Einstein and all the insights to drive the efficiency. And it's not just about from design to finished product, or in this case, cradle to cradle. What we're actually really talking about here is also for those new value pools or value streams that you get from circular secondary materials like Roja was referring to, you're talking about like 80% less energy waste, 80+% less in the water in terms of manufacturing, and of course, there's the economical benefit that comes from obviously introducing introducing these secondary parts or materials into the process as well. The beauty of the AI, though, it's not just about a closed loop. We are talking ecosystems of ecosystems. So when we start talking about resource scarcity and EVs, where in general the emissions are about 40 to 47% in terms of the manufacturing, whereas combustion engine 20, nonetheless, you want to know where the raw material comes from. And in that regards, that's where the power of AI gives you that beauty, because for once, whether you use virtualizations, I won't go into all the little nuances of it, but keeping the wheels on the wagon now in terms of the manufacturing, it allows you throughout every single stage of the value pool to then understand what is that the biggest optimization that can be achieved. And that's not just economically, but also ecologically, and also taking into account, let's look at the geo-social elements. I'm not going to go into that in terms of a discussion point, but just understanding the risks associated with availability of resource for the manufacturing end to end. And I think that is fascinating because that is here now and available. And that's exactly where we can also understand where can we redeploy these models on different cycles. And I'll pause.
Thank you very much. We have so much more to do. Lars, let's see if we can tackle this one in 2 minutes. Joseph, stand by. Lars says cross-industry AI collaboration for resource efficiency. AI will bridge the automotive, energy, and logistics, optimizing resources across industries. Lars, 2 minutes. That's it. Go.
Yeah, as you have realized, my heart is with startups and innovation. So I will push it for startups, and I think in there. But to have this cross-industry collaboration and using AI, you have to be, you have to like the innovation. You need the players to work together. That's the most important thing about it. And they're the individuals on their own. So if the big players are open to do something there and work together, because like Roja said, it's not a linear model anymore, it's a circular model. So everyone has to benefit from it, not only the final one who is making the money with the customer. And so you will have individuals who push this. And for example, startups push innovation, but there's a limit. There's a limit in the complexity. There's also a limit in the willingness. And their AI can be our, call it superpower, to facilitate and speed up this process. For sure, we have to understand some boundaries to AI, and it has to fit to our rules. But to play the ultimate game, a bit linked to my quote before with I'm inevitable, we need some superpowers. And AI can be a superpower to cross those industries which were not able to work together before, because they're showing, like you said, Adam, the financial benefits as the benefits for the planet. So we have to use all our jokers we have. And for industrial cooperation, I think that's an essential powerhouse, especially for the automotive industry, which is in front of a big change.
Thank you, Lars. And let's wrap up with Joseph here. Joseph says AI will enable and accelerate the circular approach in the automotive industry. Here we go. Here's the key. Due to faster separation of different materials for recycling. Joseph, 2 minutes barely. They're all yours. Go.
Yeah, thank you. So, as Roja already stated, nowadays we're looking in a design process for purity of the materials, recyclability, and so on. But 10 years ago, that was not in the focus. And now, if the problem, we have a multi-material mix on the road that is now getting to the end of life, and we want to recycle all those cars. And we want to have a high recycle quota of recycled materials in the new cars, and we need the scrap to achieve that. And it's very, very difficult to find and separate the materials in cars that are now on the road to get those materials into new cars in a high quality approach. So you don't want to have, let's say, a material mix there. They have to fulfill certain requirements, and then you need a purity, and you have to regard the processes and so on. So I think with a huge database where everything is put together, and AI is sorting out, okay, we can use this one for that process, we can this let's say bumper to scrap it and build a new one, and so on. This could be a very good approach and to speed this up. So to get the materials back into the manufacturing process now.
Thank you very much. We're going to stay on after we end the show. I've got about a minute and a half to close here. We're going to plan the next one, and then we're going to focus on specifically AI. What is it that AI is going to do for us? What are these tools? What's going to happen? What are we going to tell our audience in 2025? Why AI? Why all of a sudden? We're talking about it, but I want to do a deeper dive into that. So I want all of you, and thank you so much. I want all of you to put up your finger. You're going to wag your finger, and on the count of three, you're going to join me in saying no, no, no. Roja, come on. And Joseph, come on. Lars, force yourself. There we go. That's it, Lars. Okay. On the count of three, people say the future is already here. Well, almost, kind of, sort of, not quite. And we say 1, 2, 3, no, no, no. 1, 2, 3. No, no, no. I'm not getting any support there. Let's do it again. No,
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 no.
no.
Ah, the hue and cry, you're scaring everybody. Okay, the reason is that we're talking about the future. It's might almost be here. It's starting to be here. We're thinking about it being here, but the future we're envisioning isn't here yet. Let's all do our part to make it happen. Bonnie D signing off. Don't go away. Jordan, are we out right on the dot?